Spotify CEO Daniel Ek discussed streaming and sustainability in a recent interview with Music Ally. And he denied criticisms that Spotify pays insufficient royalties to artists and insisted that the role of the musician had changed in today's landscape. He's quoted as saying, "The artists of today that are making it realize that it's about creating a continuous engagement with their fans. It's about putting the work in, about the storytelling, about the album, and about keeping a continuous dialogue with your fans." So with that being said, I know Dave is here with us. Dave, how are you doing?
I am blessed, Peter.
All right.
Blessed.
It's great to see you. Always wonderful. I know you have a lot of thoughts on this, so I'm going to let you ride with this. Let's hear what you got to say.
Well, I mean, I can't say that he's wrong, but he's right in a game that he created himself, and that's not a game that everybody needs to play. You can make a lot of money playing in a cover band. You'll probably make more money playing in a cover band at your local bar. Well, maybe not right now, but in time than you would releasing albums on Spotify, because they're paying you pennies. But the point that he's making is about conversation with your fans. If you're lucky enough to have fans, or if you're blessed enough to have fans and you actually build up a fan base. So if you can imagine that you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or an other, whatever it is that you have, if you stop talking to that person tonight or tomorrow, you're probably going to break up by Tuesday or Wednesday, because relationships are based on communication. So if you stop communicating to your fans, they're going to go listen to another band and your band just won't be that successful. So doing things like back in the days where you spend a year or 2 years in the studio really working on your song, and then you release your 10 songs and expect that, you're going to have a magical mystery tour and everybody's going to love you. It's just not going to happen, because there's so much content that's being eaten all the time. So you got to understand and play the game of this if you want to play that game. And that has nothing to do with your instrument or how much you love writing songs or how much you love listening to songs. It has nothing to do with that. It's specifically about Spotify. And if you want to get that million streams or whatever it is. So if you can almost imagine it as every time you put a quarter in the machine, right, to get your little bobblehead doll, your little ninja doll, or your little stringy thing when you go to the grocery store, every time you put a quarter in, you might get an awesome smiley face toy, or you might get 2 smiley face toys, or you might get no toys. You might put a quarter in and you get nothing, but you have to put the quarter in to be in the game. And that is the Spotify game, right? So if you release 100 tunes, it's a better chance that one of your 100 tunes is going to pop. But if you wait 3 years to release 10 tunes, your chances are really diminishing. And the last thing I want to say is it's the Russ model, right? Because that's really what he's talking about, is the Russ model. And Russ, if anybody doesn't know Russ, Google him. But Russ really came up with the concept of he's going to release a song every week, right? And he's going to do that for 50 weeks a year. And that's going to be 5 albums a year. So not 1 album every 4 years or 3 years, 5 albums every year. So by the time you put out your album every 3 years, he already put out 15 albums. So what do you think the chances are that your album is going to be successful versus his 15, or his 15 albums is going to have a better chance to be successful than yours? And that is the Spotify game. And again, you don't have to play the Spotify game. It doesn't have to be you. Make music because you love it. But to play the Spotify game, more is more. End scene.
Boom. I love it. There was one. He also had this quote, and I agree with you. It's he built the sandbox to allow people to play, and it's like, and that's his thing. He said, "I feel really that the ones that aren't doing well in streaming are predominantly people who want to release music the way it used to be released." And he's telling you, he's saying, this is what I built, this is what we're doing, and this is what you should be doing on this platform. There are other options. And what happens is I feel people don't want to hear somebody telling them something they don't want to hear. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
People don't want to hear from him because they looking at this guy, this Spotify model, as something that pays pennies. So if you know that your music has been devalued so much, why are you going to listen to the guy that devalued your music? And I think that's why people find the anger in that perspective.